Imagine sitting down to watch your favorite movie, completely unaware that you're about to unlock one of the most fun and effective methods to improve your English speaking skills. Sounds too good to be true? Not at all. Whether you're learning English for work, school, or personal growth, movies offer a treasure trove of real-life dialogue, natural pronunciation, and cultural nuances that make language learning enjoyable. In this article, we'll explore the fascinating world of movie-based language learning, uncovering how films can sharpen your fluency, expand your vocabulary, and enhance your pronunciation, all while keeping you thoroughly entertained. Through methods like active listening, shadowing, and engaging with movie dialogues, you'll discover how turning to the big screen can make a big difference in your English skills. Now I want to tell you a real short story about the topic, then I'll give you some tips about it. In a small town, there was a young man named Luis who was determined to improve his English speaking skills. He had been taking language classes for months, memorizing vocabulary lists, practicing grammar exercises, and attending conversation clubs. But despite all his hard work, Luis felt stuck. He struggled to carry out conversations naturally and found himself fumbling over words and sentences whenever he tried to speak in English. His dream was to land a job at a multinational company where fluent English was essential, but his self-doubt held him back. One evening, after a long day of studying, Luis decided to unwind by watching a movie. He picked a classic English film, Forrest Gump, purely for entertainment. But as the movie unfolded, something clicked in his mind. He noticed how Tom Hanks' character, Forrest, spoke with such clear and simple English, yet it was conversational and effortless. Luis could follow along with the dialogue, and soon enough, he found himself repeating lines from the movie. "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get," he said, mimicking the southern drawl with a grin. It was fun, and without realizing it, he was practicing his pronunciation and intonation in a way that no textbook had ever taught him. Over the next few weeks, Luis developed a new learning routine. Instead of treating movies as just a way to relax, he began using them as a learning tool. He would watch his favorite scenes with English subtitles, pausing every time he heard a new word or phrase. He would rewind to tricky sections and mimic the actors, paying close attention to how they pronounced words and how they used expressions naturally. One evening, while watching the romantic comedy Notting Hill, he found himself practicing the famous line, "I'm just a girl, standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her." Luis wasn't just practicing English, he was immersing himself in the language. He learned how to use casual phrases like, "What's up?" and "Catch you later," that never came up in his formal lessons. By watching characters in various situations, romantic, funny, or even action-packed, he gained an understanding of how English was spoken in real life. He found it fascinating how characters in different movies spoke differently. The polished English of a lawyer in The Devil's Advocate versus the street slang in The Fast and the Furious. He became familiar with British, American, Australian, and other accents, and before he knew it, his listening skills skyrocketed. But the real magic happened when he started using the shadowing technique. Inspired by his favorite movie quotes, Luis would play short scenes, repeating the lines in real time along with the actors. At first, it felt a little awkward, but soon it became natural. By imitating the tone, rhythm, and speed of the actor's speech, his pronunciation improved. His fluency began to flow, and he found himself speaking with more confidence and ease. He also dove deeper into the dialogue, analyzing scenes from movies like A Beautiful Mind and The Social Network. He would transcribe the dialogue, breaking down how characters used complex words and phrases in professional settings, which helped him enrich his vocabulary. This method not only improved his understanding of formal English, but also boosted his speaking skills for interviews and presentations. Beyond language, Luis also noticed something else. Movies gave him a glimpse into different cultures and social interactions. He learned that speaking a language wasn't just about words, but also about body language, gestures, and tone. For example, in romantic dramas, he could see how characters used subtle changes in voice to express affection or sadness. In comedies, he noticed how humor often relied on cultural context, like the dry wit in British films or the more physical comedy in American movies. As Luis practiced consistently, his confidence in speaking English grew. One day, he joined a group discussion at his language school where everyone talked about their favorite movies. Not only did Luis contribute to the conversation with enthusiasm, but he also noticed how much smoother his speech had become. He was no longer afraid of making mistakes or searching for the right words. The conversations felt natural, like those he had seen on screen. Months later, Luis finally felt ready to apply for the job he had been dreaming of. During the interview, he spoke fluently and confidently, surprising even himself. When asked how he improved his English so quickly, he simply smiled and said, "I just watched a lot of movies." Luis got the job. So guys, that was our story. Now let's talk about why is watching movies essential for improving English speaking skills. Methods and tips. Learning English as a second language can sometimes feel like an uphill battle. Mastering vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and fluency all at once can be overwhelming. Fortunately, there's a fun and incredibly effective way to improve your English speaking skills that doesn't feel like studying. Watching movies. While many people see movies as just entertainment, they are actually one of the best tools for language learners. Movies immerse you in the natural use of English, giving you access to real-life conversations, cultural nuances, and diverse accents. In this article, we'll explore why watching movies is so important for improving your English speaking skills and the best methods to use movies as an active learning tool. Why movies are powerful for English learning. 1. Real-life language and conversations. One of the most significant benefits of watching movies is exposure to real-life, conversational English. Unlike textbooks or classroom learning, movies showcase how English is spoken naturally. They include colloquial expressions, slang, idioms, and casual speech patterns that native speakers use every day. By listening to actors and characters, you'll learn how to use common phrases in context and get a feel for how English flows in various situations. For example, in many English courses, you'll learn formal phrases like, "How are you?" But in movies, you might hear alternatives like, "What's up?" or "How's it going?" This exposes you to the real-world variety of the language, teaching you how to adjust your speech depending on the formality of the situation. 2. Improving pronunciation and accent. Movies can also help you improve your pronunciation and sound more like a native speaker. When you hear actors speaking, you're exposed to different accents, tones, intonations, and rhythms of the language. This variety helps you pick up on the subtle sounds that make English so unique. For example, you might hear an American accent in a Hollywood film or a British accent in a movie from the UK. By listening closely and repeating what you hear, you can train your ear to recognize the correct sounds and imitate them when you speak. This is especially helpful for mastering difficult sounds that may not exist in your native language. Point 3. Learning vocabulary and phrases in context. Watching movies gives you a chance to learn new vocabulary and context, rather than memorizing long lists of words, which can be difficult to remember. You'll see how words and phrases are used in specific situations. This helps you not only understand their meanings, but also know when and where to use them in conversation. For example, imagine you're watching a movie about business or law. You'll likely pick up specialized vocabulary related to that topic. On the other hand, a romantic comedy might teach you more informal, everyday language. By watching a variety of genres, you'll expand your vocabulary and learn how to use new words naturally. Point 4. Exposure to different accents and cultural contexts. English is spoken with a wide variety of accents, dialects, and cultural references. Movies expose you to these differences, helping you understand and appreciate the diversity of the language. For instance, characters in a movie from the UK will speak very differently from characters in an American film. Understanding different accents is critical if you want to communicate with English speakers from around the world. Furthermore, movies provide cultural context, which is essential for language learning. You'll understand how people from different countries and backgrounds interact, what gestures or body language they use, and how certain words or phrases are used in specific cultural contexts. This cultural immersion is something that no textbook can offer. Methods for using movies to improve English speaking. Now that we've explored why watching movies is essential for language learning, let's dive into how to use them effectively. Passive watching isn't enough. You need to turn movie watching into an active learning experience. Below are several methods and detailed steps on how to improve your English speaking skills using movies. 1. Active listening with subtitles. One of the most effective ways to use movies to learn English is by watching them with English subtitles. Start by choosing a movie that interests you and watch it with the subtitles turned on. This way, you can match the spoken words to their written form, which helps improve both your listening and reading skills simultaneously. Steps: choose a movie in English. Pick a movie that you enjoy and are familiar with. Watch with English subtitles. As you watch, listen carefully to how words are pronounced and try to read along with the subtitles. Pause and repeat difficult sections. If you come across a word or phrase that you don't understand or can't pronounce well, pause the movie and listen to it again. Repeat the line out loud to mimic the actor's pronunciation. Turn off the subtitles gradually. Once you feel confident with your listening skills, try watching the movie without subtitles. This challenges you to understand spoken English without relying on text. 2. Shadowing technique. The shadowing technique is a powerful tool for improving both pronunciation and fluency. This method involves repeating what you hear in real time as you watch a movie, trying to match the speed, tone, and accent of the characters. The goal is to speak simultaneously with the actors, imitating their speech as closely as possible. Steps: select short scenes. Choose a short scene with dialogue that you want to practice. Play and repeat. Watch the scene once, then replay it and repeat the lines out loud at the same time as the actors. Focus on mimicking their pronunciation and intonation. Practice with different genres and accents. Challenge yourself by shadowing characters from various movies with different accents, such as British or American English, to improve your flexibility in pronunciation. Point 3. Break down and analyze dialogue. Another way to use movies for learning English is to break down specific dialogues and analyze them in detail. Choose a scene with rich dialogue and study how the characters interact. Pay attention to word choice, sentence structure, and expressions. Steps: transcribe a scene. Watch the scene and write down the dialogue. Break it down. Analyze each line. identifying any new vocabulary or idioms. Look up unfamiliar words and understand how they're used in context. Practice speaking. Read the dialogue out loud, practicing pronunciation and fluency. Try to replicate the natural rhythm and speed of the conversation. 4. Focus on cultural context and nonverbal cues. Language is more than just words. Cultural context and body language are equally important. Movies can teach you how to use gestures, facial expressions, and tone of voice to communicate effectively. Pay attention to how characters express emotions and respond to situations non-verbally. Steps: watch for body language. As you watch a movie, notice how the actors use body language to communicate emotions or emphasize points. For example, how do they use their hands when talking, or how do their facial expressions change during conversations? Mimic nonverbal communication. Practice using similar gestures and expressions when speaking English. This will help you sound more natural and native-like in your conversations. Point 5. Engage in discussions about movies. Another way to improve your speaking skills is by discussing movies with others. After watching a film, try talking about it in English with friends, teachers, or language partners. You can share your thoughts on the characters, plot, or themes of the movie. Steps: join online movie discussion forums. Many platforms, such as Reddit or Facebook groups, allow people to discuss their favorite films. Join these communities and engage in conversations about movies in English. Organize movie discussion groups. If possible, organize a group of friends or language learners to watch a movie together and discuss it afterward. Practice explaining the plot, summarizing scenes, and giving your opinion in English. 6. Watch movies in different genres to expand your vocabulary and experience different kinds of conversations. Watch movies from various genres. Each genre will expose you to different types of language. For example, action or adventure films will expose you to fast-paced, dynamic conversations with more casual language. Romantic dramas will focus more on emotions and relationships, offering deeper dialogues. Science fiction or fantasy films may include technical jargon and more complex vocabulary. By watching a wide range of genres, you'll develop a more well-rounded understanding of the English language. Final tips for maximizing your learning. Choose movies that interest you. Learning is always more effective when you're engaged and entertained. Pick movies that align with your personal interests, whether it's comedy, drama, or documentaries. Repeat and rewatch. Don't hesitate to watch the same movie or scenes multiple times. Repetition helps reinforce what you've learned and solidifies new vocabulary and pronunciation in your memory. Keep a notebook. Keep a notebook nearby while watching movies. Write down any new words, idioms, or phrases that you come across. After the movie, look them up and try using them in your conversations. Be consistent. Watching one movie won't magically improve your English. Make watching movies a regular part of your learning routine, and you'll see continuous improvement over time. Movies are a powerful and enjoyable tool for improving your English speaking skills. They offer authentic language exposure, teach you how to pronounce words like a native speaker, and provide a rich cultural context that textbooks can't offer. By actively engaging with movies, through shadowing, active listening, and analyzing dialogue, you'll boost your vocabulary, enhance your fluency, and sound more natural in your conversations. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, making movies a part of your language learning journey will take your English speaking skills to the next level. Like Luis, you too can unlock the magic of language learning through movies. They offer a window into real-life English, exposing you to vocabulary, pronunciation, and cultural nuances that no textbook can capture. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your fluency, turning to films can make learning English feel less like work and more like a cinematic adventure. The best part? It's enjoyable, accessible, and diverse. So, the next time you sit down to watch a movie, think of it not just as entertainment, but as your personal language coach. Start with subtitles, use the shadowing technique, break down dialogues, and immerse yourself in the rich variety of accents and cultures. Over time, you'll notice a transformation in your speaking skills, just like Luis. So, grab some popcorn, turn on that movie, and let the learning begin.